The sun dipped below the horizon, casting long shadows that whispered secrets into the night as 17-year-old Mia Darrow walked the familiar trail through Hawthorne Woods. The air was crisp, and the scent of pine mingled with the fading warmth of the day. She pressed her phone close, its dim light barely illuminating the path ahead. Mia had grown up hearing tales about these woods, tales of things that lurked in the darkness and devoured anything that crossed their path. Most were just stories, remnants of folklore twisted and exaggerated by the generations before her. But tonight, Mia couldn't shake the feeling that something was off. "Just my imagination," she muttered to herself, trying to dismiss the eerie sensation creeping along her spine. She was headed to a small gathering with her friends at the old, abandoned cabin hidden deep in the forest. Jason had insisted they go. It was a tradition to spend one night away from the screens, reconnecting with nature. And while a part of her was excited, another part kept glancing over her shoulder, half expecting someone, or something, to appear. As Mia approached the clearing where the cabin stood, she felt her heart quicken. The moonlight spilled through the branches, illuminating the structure like a ghost that had long been forgotten. Inside, her friends were already laughing and setting up for the night, but even their spirited chatter didn't completely ease her nerves. "Hey, Mia, you made it," Jason called, flinging an arm around her shoulders. She smiled weakly back, trying to ignore the way the trees seemed to sway ominously in the breeze. The night unfolded with games, stories, and even a few ghost tales that sent shivers down Mia's spine. As the clock struck midnight, Jason suggested they do a spirit summon to bring some thrill to their night. Surrounding an old Ouija board they found in the attic, they placed their fingers lightly on the planchette, giggling and whispering as they began to ask questions. The board began to move, and the atmosphere shifted. What started as laughter and playful banter soon turned serious as the planchette spelled out words that sent chills through their group. "Beware," was the first warning that came through, and though they laughed it off at first, a tension hung heavy in the air. "Okay, enough of this," Mia said, pulling her fingers away. "I'm not comfortable with this anymore." But Jason, ever the skeptic, insisted they continue. "Come on, it's just a game. It's not like anything's really going to happen." Before Mia could protest further, a howl echoed through the woods, deep and resonating. It sent knives of fear into her bones. The laughter died abruptly, replaced by nervous glances exchanged among her friends. It wasn't just an echo, it felt alive, primal. "Just a wolf, right?" someone whispered, but Mia recognized that it was different. A shiver ran down her spine as another howl responded from deeper in the woods, closer this time. "Let's just go inside," Mia suggested, urgency in her tone. They shrugged off their unease as best as they could, retreating into the cabin. Minutes turned into hours, and the howling continued, punctuating their conversations with a sense of dread. Suddenly, a loud crash erupted from outside, rattling the windows. They jumped in unison. "What was that?" Sarah squeaked, her eyes wide with panic. "I'll check it out," Jason declared, movement followed by a hesitant pause. "Maybe it's just a tree branch or something." "No way, you're not going out there alone," Mia protested, her heart pounding in her chest. But Jason was already pushing open the door, torch in hand, determined to confront whatever was lurking in the shadows. "Stay inside," he shouted before vanishing into the blackness. "Why did he leave us?" Sarah whispered, tears forming in her eyes. "It's not safe." They waited in tense silence, hearts pounding in unity, minutes stretching like hours. Mia paced the cabin, trying to convince herself that it was a prank, but deep down, she knew that something wasn't right. Finally, the door creaked open, and Jason stumbled back inside, his face pale, eyes wide with terror. I saw something," he gasped, breathless. "It's not just a wolf." Before he could explain, a shadow fell across the cabin. The air thickened, suffocating them with a sense of impending doom. The unmistakable sound of claws scraping against wood reverberated into the room, inching closer and closer. "We need to leave, now," Mia cried, grabbing Sarah's arm. But before they could make a dash for the door, it burst open. A monstrous figure loomed under the moonlight, towering over them, claws protruding, fur bristling like a midnight storm. Its eyes glowed with a feral hunger that sent them scrambling back in fear. Mia's mind raced. Get to the attic. There's a window. She was already sprinting up the creaking stairs. The others followed, terror propelling them upward. They huddled together in the small, dark space, trying to breathe through the panic clawing at their ribcages. "We're going to be okay," Jason whispered, though his voice wavered. But the growling outside only intensified, filling the air with a bone-chilling promise of dread. "It's just waiting for us," Mia realized, her heart sinking. The creature could sense their fear, and it savored every moment of their impending doom. "Maybe we can signal for help?" Sarah suggested, desperation bleeding into her tone. "No time," Mia murmured, stepping closer to the window to peer outside. The moon illuminated the shape below, a savage silhouette that was no longer a myth. "It's real." A sudden crash echoed through the cabin. The monster would be upon them any second. "Mia!" A voice called from below, their friend, Danny, who had been scouting the perimeter. "Run, it's not safe." In disbelief, she turned to find fear etched into his features. There was no time left. With a last attempt to escape, Mia pushed the window open, adrenaline coursing through her. "Go, now." One by one, they leapt into the night, hoping to make a break through the trees. But they were no longer just running from an abandoned cabin. They were fleeing in ancient darkness, as the howl of the beast echoed through the night, reminding them that in Hawthorne Woods, the stories were sometimes all too real.